We've got a great guest lined up for you today on the Steve Freeman podcast. Those of you that listen or watch, whichever one you do, you guys know how much I love football. And I'm ready for football. Here we are. It's, basically July. And, well, it is July, actually. It's been July for a few days now. I've had my head in my ass. Honestly, I've had so much going on. Anyway, nevertheless, our guest today, tight end for the Seattle Seahawks, Jacob Hollister, is joining us. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk music. We're going to talk family because his brother plays right here in Nashville for the Tennessee Titans. We're going to have a great conversation about life, about all of it. So I hope you'll stick around and enjoy this episode of the Steve Freeman podcast.
You're listening to the Steve Freeman podcast, the real, raw truth about the pursuit of success in music, business, and life. Here's your host, hit songwriter, multi-platinum selling producer, and serial entrepreneur, Steve Freeman.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Steve Freeman podcast. It is good to have you here. And I'm excited today because, as we're now in July. And as everybody knows, I am just anxiously awaiting. I am ready for football. Football can't get here quite soon enough. So I'm ready for it. And I wanted to have on Jacob Hollister. I wanted to welcome him into the podcast. Jacob, thanks for taking some time out of your day. I know you're probably getting prepared and ready for football to come back. And it's good to have you here on the program, man.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we're just out here out in Bend, Oregon right now. So I've just been out here during this COVID stuff and appreciate you having me on. But we're excited to get back for sure here pretty soon.
Now you're from Bend, Oregon, correct?
I am. Yeah. I grew up here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I saw you went to college in Wyoming. I just literally drove across the entire state of Wyoming, coming back from Montana to Nashville. Oh, yeah. Man, Wyoming is long from one end to the other. I think I saw every inch of it.
I bet that you drove through Laramie too, which is our where we went. I went to college. That's where Wyoming is. Okay, so that probably took you about 30 seconds.
No, I stopped because I had to stop at Starbucks. So I stopped at Starbucks in Laramie, got gas in Laramie, and off we were.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So how are you liking it up in Seattle? Now, growing up in Bend, Oregon, was Seattle the team for you?
It was. So I was actually always a quarterback growing up and a quarterback fan. So growing up, I actually loved Brett Favre. So the Packers were kind of my team growing up.
Gotcha.
But the Seahawks were always the hometown team. So my brother always was a fan of the Seahawks. I always liked the Seahawks. And then, obviously everybody from here, from back home, is just a big fan of the Seahawks. So that's actually the only game that I ever went to growing up. Was my dad took us to a Seahawks game when we were 10 years old or something like that. So, man, it's pretty surreal, now playing for these guys and going back to CenturyLink, and pretty surreal feeling just knowing that I was sitting in those stands as a kid and now I'm playing for them. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's kind of like the conclusion, the evolution of the dream, right? Sitting up in the stands as a kid and then looking down, and then looking down on the field, and then now you get to be on the field looking back up there.
No doubt. It really is. And that's, when I have family come visit, family and friends come out and visit and watch games, I feel like that's what kind of brings it all in perspective for me, because, seeing them in this, and then just knowing that I was in the stands however many years ago, doing the same thing, watching the game. And it's pretty surreal, man. It's a big blessing for sure. And especially playing for the Seahawks, the hometown team, has been a huge blessing. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Now, you are going into your second season with the Seahawks, correct? Yeah, first 2 years with New England. What was that like? What was it like being a New England Patriot?
It was awesome, man. It's I feel like, especially starting my career out in New England, was awesome because they expect a lot out of you. It's just really high expectations, really intense environment, but at the same time, you have a bunch of guys that have been successful for a really long time. So, just being around guys like Coach Belichick, Tom, Julian, Hogan, Gronk, all these guys, just to start my career there and to learn under those guys for a couple years, I think is just going to pay huge dividends in my career in the long run. And it did last year. And then I feel like, just with learning the work ethic and the way to be a pro over there, and then taking that into my career for the rest of however many years I play, is big. So it was awesome. And obviously getting that Super Bowl ring was just incredible.
And that doesn't suck, does it?
You can't complain about that. Yeah.
Well, do you think for you, being a rookie and an undrafted, I kind of want to ask you about that process too. What's that like? Because I know as kids, each all dreams of going to the NFL draft and doing that. And it's like you and so many others like you, your brother, are a perfect example of people who that doesn't, just because the dream doesn't happen A, B, C, D, doesn't mean that the dream is not possible. And here you and your brother both are living the dream. And, as far as the Patriots organization is concerned, was it good for you to learn that that's your first team going straight in as an undrafted rookie and being a part of something that people recognize it all over. I mean, it's a very professional organization, very structured. Do you think that helps you being new into the league?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think another thing that helped me a lot was you look at teams like the Seahawks and the Patriots, and they really couldn't care less about where you were drafted, what school you went to, how high of a prospect you were. They really just care about how well you play when you get there. And so that's something that I was really thankful for with the Patriots is they didn't care that I was undrafted. They didn't care about any of that, or my brother. They just cared about how I played when I was there and the work that I put in when I was there. And that definitely helped me out in my career in the long run. And just to go to a place that had a lot of structure, that whether you liked it or not, like whether you're going to do it on your own or not, which I think I would have on my own anyways. But, every rookie who was in that program, you're forced to do things a certain way and a certain structure. And it really just helps you in the long run. And everybody learns how to just, work their asses off and do it the right way, honestly.
Now, brothers in the NFL. Now, I read that you and your brother were the only third set of twins to ever play in the NFL. And oddly enough, not too many brothers. Like I work with Danielle Khalil and her brothers, Matt and Ryan, huge NFL family. What's it like for you and your brother now? Your brother being here on the Titans and you being all the way in Seattle. What's it like for you guys? Do you guys break down game film together? Do you talk about the teams with each other? I mean, what's kind of your process with having somebody that's so close, not even just a brother, but a twin, in the exact same scenario you're in, but in a completely different part of the country?
Yeah, it's wild. Because even so this time last year, a couple months before this time last year, I got traded over to Seattle. And so I was kind of in this whirlwind, didn't know what was going on, but Cody was still a free agent. And so we were still waiting to see what was going to happen there. And then he finally signed with the Titans pretty much 2 weeks after I got to Seattle. But man, it's been awesome. I feel like that time together playing in New England, especially after we were apart for 3 years in college, was just awesome because we got to come back together and we were our own men. Like before we left for college and split up, it was kind of like we had part of our identities in each other, but when we split up, it was like we really became our own men. And so when we came back together, it was really cool just, getting to spend that time together for 2 years and, getting to experience the Super Bowl win with my brother is just, that's surreal. It's a movie and,
it should be a movie.
Yeah. But, now that we're on different teams, I think we're just riding the wave, man. It's like we've had so many amazing things happen to us, and God's blessed us in so many ways. And for us to both still be playing football and getting paid for it, and he's living over in Nashville, which is one of the best places on earth, and I'm over in Seattle, an incredible place on the West Coast where I grew up, and it's incredible.
Well, it's the Titans had right. We're here in Nashville as well, and it's what happened with the Titans last year was completely unexpected. Nobody expected for them to make the run that they made, but it kind of re-energized, I think, the Nashville community about the Titans, and because for 2 or 3 years, it's been all about the Predators. Since the Predators made their run, it's like but now you're starting to see, it feels like more people excited about the Titans. And, and Nashville is a great place to live. I mean, I'm leaving here in a year. I've been here 15 years, but I've put my time in. I'm retiring. I'm retiring from the music business. I'm done. But it is a great place, especially you guys are 26, 27 years old.
26.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great place to be that age. And especially, being in the NFL. I do have something that I want to ask you about because we actually share something in common here. And of course, it was 25 years ago for me. It was not as long ago for you. What was your favorite thing to do in Yuma, freaking Arizona? Because I lived there for 2 years, 25 years ago. I ran a radio station there, and I'll never forget my wife and I the weird thing about this is when I accepted the job, I thought I accepted a job in Lincoln, Nebraska. My wife had secretly sent my air check and resume over to this station in Yuma because her parents are snowbirds. No. They spend like 6-8 months of the year in Yuma. Well, when I got on the phone, I thought I was taking the job in Lincoln, Nebraska. I didn't. I took the job in Yuma, Arizona. So when we finally got that figured out,
oh my god!
And I was telling the guy
awesome.
I was telling the guy that hired me, about I was looking forward to the snow and all that, and the guy's like, "The fuck are you talking about? There's no snow in Yuma, Arizona." And I'm like, "What, Yuma?" So we loaded up. We got to Yuma, Arizona in July, and like at 2:00 in the morning, we're wheeling into town. My wife and I have those little walkie-talkies, and I hear the little walkie-talkie. She goes, "Where have you moved us? There is nothing here." And so we got off the freeway. You pull over. There is nothing in Yuma, Arizona. So what did you do? How did you fill your time up in Yuma, Arizona?
Man, I'd be interested to see what we did that was similar because we were so. I don't know if you've ever been to the JUCO, the junior college out in Arizona Western, but like you drive kind of 5 minutes, past town or out of town, and it's right there sitting out in the middle of farm fields. And man, for us being there, what we did, so my buddy had this truck. We didn't have a car over there. And so my buddy had a truck. So about once a week or once every 2 weeks, we'd pay him like $10 to be able to take his truck and go into the Buffalo Wild Wings, save up a little cash, save up all week. We'd be like eating the PB&Js and making top ramen all week so we could save up and go to this Buffalo Wild Wings in town. And that was like our treat every week. We went there and just went ham with the guys, and that was a great time. But man, you had to find stuff to do. You had to be creative out there for sure. There
was no Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, it wasn't there yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
There was literally, there was Jack in the Box, like on the corner of South Avenue B, which was right down from the apartment complex where we lived.
When were you there?
That would have been like 97, 96, 97, 98.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah, I saw that in your bio and I was like, oh my God, if there's proof that somebody that actually lived in Yuma, Arizona can make it to the NFL, they should have your poster on the wall in their room. Because the only thing there is the Marine Corps Air Station. That's it. So yeah,
I think some mutation or something that happened. We were breathing in all the chemicals from the farm fields, and so that kind of helped us out, me and my brother. And then
that's what it is. That's what it is right there. Because it's hard pressed to find anybody who spent any significant time in Yuma, Arizona that's not from there.
Oh, no question.
So when I see that with somebody, I'm like, oh my God, that's almost like a brotherhood.
It really is. Like
if you've lived there and made it out, then there's a bond with people, and it's like it's stamped.
Oh, for sure. For
But
sure.
yeah,
You talk to somebody and they say they live in Yuma, and you're like, man, I respect it, brother.
yeah, no, I used, and no offense against anybody in Yuma, but I'm originally from Arkansas, and we always called Pine Bluff, Arkansas, the armpit of the world. And I realized when we got to Yuma that Pine Bluff, Arkansas is not actually the armpit of the world. It's located in southwest Arizona. And it's hot as hell. It's where the devil goes to cool off. It's ridiculous. Well, I want to ask you, so you go from catching passes from Tom Brady to catching passes from Russell Wilson. I mean, a lot of people in the NFL have it a lot worse off than you do.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's man, it's crazy. Cause you even look at me in college, I had Josh Allen, who's with the Bills now. He's starting for them and doing an amazing job. And then I go straight to playing for Tom, and then I get traded to Seattle and I'm playing for Russ. So it's like, man, I couldn't imagine having a bad quarterback. Like I have, so many guys spend their whole careers looking to find that connection with a really great quarterback, Hall of Fame type quarterback. And I've had, two of those, and in my opinion, a third one coming up with Josh that I've gotten to play with. So it's been pretty awesome, man. When you look at the upcoming season and even your career moving forward, what is your goal structure? Like what is your immediate goal with now moving into you're not new in Seattle anymore. You're established there. You're going into second season. What's the goal for you when you sit down and you go, man, this is really what I want for myself? Where do you see that? And what is that goal? Yeah, I think each year it's similar to college. My goal increases each year. And so I want to reach that and then set the bar a little bit higher. And I feel like last year was pretty awesome, getting some playing time and starting a lot of games. At the end of the day, I do want to be a starting tight end in the league. So, a lot of people have told me my whole life that I couldn't do that because of my size. I'm considered a smaller tight end, 6'4" and, around 240, but I want to push closer to 250 this year. But that's my goal, man. I want to be a starting tight end. I want to contribute in any way that I can. I want to catch a lot of passes this year. But really, and everybody kind of says this, but I really just have the desire to win. And I want that feeling back of going to the Super Bowl. And that first 2 years that I was in New England, I didn't play in either of the Super Bowl games. So I want to get back to that stage, playing that game and win it. I think that'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, man, most of my goals are definitely team oriented. And I think that's just kind of how I was raised and the way that I've been as a player. But, there's definitely individual goals I have. Like I said, I want to be a starting tight end. I want to be one of the best tight ends in the league. And, I don't really care what people have to say about that. And people have a lot of negative things to say about me. And you just got to learn to brush it off. And it's obviously you have people like that growing up your whole life. So if I would have been paying attention to them, then I wouldn't have made it here in the first place. But yeah.
No, I think that is so valuable to think of it that way. Is the culture that we live in, it is just this: if we don't agree with each other, we cancel each other. If you're not tall enough, we just automatically cancel you, and you're not. And I don't see how people can continue to even be that way when they look at you and it's like, well, regardless of you think that I'm too short or whatever, I'm here. And I've never understood. We deal with that in the music business every single day. And it's like, I just hate to see that because there's more people that are not like you that will use that as a fuel to light the fire and really go out and accomplish things. And a lot of people just hear those things and they quit. And I, man, it just kills me when I see things like that, and to hear how driven that you are in accomplishing those goals. I mean, to me, it would looking at what's going on in Seattle with the Seahawks. I mean, you have every opportunity in the world to achieve those goals, it would seem.
For sure. Yeah, man, that's what I just feel really hopeful about. And I feel like I'm in a great position. Like you said, also having a really great quarterback in Russ and just a great team. I just feel like I'm in a great position this year. I'm on a 1-year contract this year. I just signed back with them, and then I enter free agency next year. So, this is really a period where it can be life-changing for guys, for, future families and stuff like that when it comes to making some money. And so, that's another thought that I have in mind is, my dad always growing up, you're earning – all that money is you're earning time with your family. And so I think of it that way, is I want to earn some time with my family throughout this process. And I love football and I love playing it.
But it's your job.
Probably play it. Yeah, exactly. But it is a job. And so I'm trying to earn some time right now and earning some money for the long term. But like I said, I love playing it. But yeah, I'm in a great position for sure to be over in Seattle and, to be where I am, especially after last year. And I just got to keep it rolling this year.
No, man, sounds great. I can't wait to watch you this year. Matter of fact, we will have to hook up. My daughter is starting college next year. And one of the colleges, she wants to go to the University of Seattle. Seahawks are her favorite football team. She can't tell you why. I joke with her all the time because she loves the colors. But she's got the jersey. She's got a jersey. I mean, she's got the whole thing. She's a huge Seahawks fan. And we're going to go visit the campus there for her to take a look at, because she wants to be a lawyer. And evidently, University of Seattle is one of the best pre-law programs in the country. So we'll have to connect for sure. And I don't think the Seahawks are not playing the Titans, so you won't be coming to town anytime soon.
No, I'll probably just be there for the bye week. That's where I usually go for the bye weeks in Nashville. Yeah, but you got to hit me up. We'll definitely link up while you're in Seattle.
Yeah, man. Sounds great. Listen, thank you so much, Jacob. I appreciate it. Everybody watch. And I'm going to go out on, I'm going to say that Jacob should be on your fantasy football team this year. I'm going to put you on mine, and I'm going to hold you accountable. That means I'm going to text you every time you drop a pass. No, do people do that? I mean, seriously, do you get that kind of shit from people where it's just like, yes, I dropped that pass intentionally because I didn't want you to get that 6 points.
I didn't want to catch it. You get that all the time.
I can't even imagine. Jacob, thanks for being here, man. It's great catching up with you. Congratulations on the 1-year contract with Seattle. We're going to be rooting for you, man, and look forward to a great season ahead, catching lots of passes, lots of touchdowns, and hopefully obtain that goal, which you were talking about, get you a long-term contract and prepare for your future and your family. We appreciate it, man.
Definitely. I appreciate you, brother.
What a great time. I am so ready for football. Having Jacob on today just solidified it. I am ready for football. So bring it on. Thank you guys so much for being here for another episode. Don't forget, the all-new Steve Freeman Podcast merch store is available. You can get all kinds of no bullshit gear right there in the merch store. We've got t-shirts, tanks for women and girls. We've got hats. We've got mugs. It's all right there in the store. You can find it at thestevefreeman.com or go to the podcast section of the site, and there's another button there you can click on to check out the merch. Don't forget, guys, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast if you are listening on Apple Podcast or iTunes. I cannot tell you how important your rating those 5 stars are. I cannot tell you how important leaving a written review is. I know how many reviews I've gotten. I know how many of you are listening. And there are thousands of you that have not gone and left a written review or 5 stars. Do me a favor. Make that a priority over the weekend. If you would, I would greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy the show, leave us a written review. Leave us 5 stars on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. That helps us with the rankings, and it helps being featured. All kinds of cool stuff. I would really appreciate you rating and reviewing the podcast. I really, really, really do appreciate it. I want to thank Jacob Hollister again for being here. You can catch him on the field with the Seattle Seahawks this upcoming season. God willing, and the creek don't rise, we are going to have football. Don't forget to check out our awesome show sponsors, Performance Inspired Nutrition, pi-nutrition.com. Enter code Steve at checkout, get 10% off anything that you buy. Also, check out artistdevelopmentacademy.com and become an all-access member today, and I can connect with you even further. I love our all-access members. We're having such a great time over there. I hope you will consider becoming an all-access member. Guys, until the next episode, keep being creative, keep pressing the boundaries, and there's nothing wrong with being independent. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for the Steve Freeman Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow Steve on social media at the Steve Freeman.